Oh, hi, buddy. Are you being a good boy? Oh, hello.
No, tonight you were not a good boy, Sune. He woke us up at 3.
Oh, no, Sune, why?
Say hi, Sune.
Why you wake them up? You just had to play. Oh my god, he's so cute.
Isn't he the best boy ever?
Oh my goodness, look at him giving you kisses. Welcome everybody to an extremely special episode of Friendlies where I am so honored today to be hosting one of the greats herself, Ada Hegerberg. It is impossible to talk about the most important soccer players in the world without talking about Ada, the longtime Lyon striker and current captain of Norway's national team, who has won BBC's Women Footballer of the Year, UEFA's Best Women's Player in Europe, and the prestigious Ballon d'Or. She currently holds the record as the all-time leading goal scorer for the Champions League, and she's a champion for equality. In a lot of ways, Ada feels like someone who has pushed the women's game to the point that it's at. Ada, it is such an honor to have you on the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Same to you, Sam. I just told Sam before we went live that we're all appreciating what she's doing in her post-career. And I told the girls at the team that I was going to do this podcast today, and they were all pumped because we all respect you and we appreciate your work.
Oh my gosh, that is really sweet and means a lot to me. I really am doing my best. I want to tell more players' stories and give women's soccer more access in the media and just have more of it be like prevalent out there. And so I hope that we're doing that. And I'm really glad to hear that the players are enjoying it and appreciating it because that's my goal. Before we get into your very singular career, I want to start with the most important thing to me. I heard you just got a puppy.
Yes. I gotta show you at the end of this episode.
Okay.
He's outside with my husband. It's like currently 20 degrees and sunny outside. So I kind of kicked them out of the house while I'm doing this podcast. But I will introduce you to Sune, which is his name. 4
I know.
months, old Staffy, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we actually have heard about his name a little bit, and I need to ask you. So it has 2 meanings as far as I know. It's the Old Norse word for son. Is that right?
I'm glad you're telling me because I didn't know that. It's basically the name of like a classic old Swedish name. Basically all dudes in Sweden are called Sune. So we were like, we met a Staffy once that was called Sune. So we were like, it's not the OG Sune, but he's kind of our Sune. So
that's so cute. I love that name. I also wanted to let you know it is the name of a world champion Frisbee player from the 90s. Did you know that?
You know, we'll take it.
I thought there was a small chance that you were going to be like, oh yeah, that's who we named him after. And no, absolutely not.
But I gotta say, I appreciate like real human names on dogs. I find that very charming. So when we got the dog, I was like, he has to have a human name.
I know. My friend has a dog named Kevin, and I think it's literally the funniest name for a dog I've ever heard.
What's your dog's name again?
My dog's name is Finn.
I mean, come on, that's a human name.
I know. I feel like in America, it's a lot of dog names, but yeah. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. So are you enjoying being a dog mom? Like, how has it changed your life?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's a little bit of a cliche, but getting a dog is like getting a son. And I'm just like the love you get when you get home. I'm very lucky because Thomas, my husband, he kind of takes the responsibility of waking up during the night, taking care of him so that I can zip in and be ready for training. But he's such a good guy. He is really a really sweet boy.
Oh, well, I'm so happy for you. I just know like the magic of dogs and like how getting a dog changes your life for the better. So I'm so happy for you. Before you were a dog mom or a soccer star, you were a little girl growing up in a remote Norwegian town. So you and your sister, Andrena, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Andrina, yes.
Andrena. Okay, we were practicing our Norwegian pronunciation and I'm working on it. Andrena, you played for
good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So you and your sister were playing for a local team together, and you've actually painted a really beautiful scene of these games early on in your life saying, when teams came, they said the mountains looked like a 12th player. I think that's so picturesque and beautiful to imagine. Do you actually feel like playing at an early age in such a beautiful place helped you fall more in love with the game?
I do gotta say, growing up in a small town, we grew into taking responsibilities of ourselves quite early on. Like we could be out all day kicking ball, playing in the nature, doing all sorts of dream childhood things. And we could come home for dinner, go in and out as we wanted, you know, because it was such a small place. Everyone knew each other. So it was very safe, but we also kind of like learned to grow responsibility and gain confidence with doing your own thing. Our parents were great at like letting us just do whatever we wanted to do. So growing up in that small place with huge mountains, like when I go back today, I'm amazed about the scenery. Like they're so huge. You kind of look up. So it's kind of like an adventure place, I would say.
Wow.
You don't see the sun throughout the whole year almost. That's tough. I could never move back. I'm sorry. I love my hometown, but growing up there was such a nice childhood and grew my character in some way, I would say.
That's beautiful. I know that your parents were soccer coaches, and you've said how influential they've been to your career. They always were telling you could do anything you set your mind to when it came to football. They must have been so proud that you and Andrina became club standouts as teenagers. Then you were both called up to Norway's senior national team. And Ada, you made your national team debut in 2011. You were just 16 years old. Do you remember the first time your parents saw you play for Norway and kind of what that meant to your family?
I think it's been quite surreal for them to kind of follow through the journey, because when we were growing up, you weren't supposed to make it end game being a women's footballer at the highest scene, because you didn't really know what that was back then. You know what I mean? Like our generation has been through a crazy transition of women's football. We grew up not having maybe those natural role models on television that the young girls can have today. So for them, I think it's been kind of surreal to follow us. Obviously, it's very special to have two daughters playing the same sports. I mean, you guys know exactly the same.
I know, that's my next question.
I think it's been tough for your parents as well to kind of like, it's kind of like go with the team that wins.
Yeah.
But they've been great. They have been absolutely fantastic in terms of supporting, knowing the dynamics of football. It helps a lot. I mean, they played football themselves. Being a young kid, young girl growing up in the world of football, where women, you constantly meet challenges. So that I had my parents that could always kind of like make me feel centered about what I was doing, and like giving me the confidence that I could follow my own thing, not putting any barriers or challenges to myself. I think that's been important.
I have always said, I mean, it's my parents and me and my sister, and we're the only kids. I'm younger. And I have always said that I don't think Christy or I could have made such a high level had we not had each other, because I think we were constantly pushing each other. I was really always comparing myself to her, being competitive, put in environments to be challenged, playing up with her teams. And I find it so interesting. Like, people will ask all the time, what did your parents do to get two of you to the national team? And I'm not sure of the answer. I do think that they were always really careful not to put pressure on us, and they always let it be our decision to keep going into camps and to keep, traveling for soccer and kind of choosing soccer over everything else. What would you say your family dynamic was like as you and your sister reached higher and higher levels, and what did your parents do to cultivate your talent?
I don't think it's easy either to have two daughters competing in the same sports.
I know.
Basically, you're being compared all the time by the outside. You're probably comparing yourself to each other. They're trying to keep the balance. If it's going well for the other, should you balance for the other? I think it's tough to be parents for two sisters making it in sports. It's also a gift, I would say, the amount of experience they've had. But to come back to your question, I think that we have trained a lot. People ask you, like, how did you make it? And honestly, the honest answer is a lot of training. A lot of tough training, physical training. We were running in the mountains. We were doing intervals at like a snowy pitch from an early age. I'm trying to tell the kids today as well, like, you gotta put yourself into a lot of tough training to challenge yourself mentally as well, to know the bottom of yourself. And I think if you do that, you can also gain a lot of confidence only from the way you train. I feel tremendously lucky to have had my dad coaching me, because I do value his technical ability to kind of like adjust details. So for example, every time I'm back home training with my dad, he will just tell me those easiest details in the way I hit the ball, or in the way I switch my feet before shooting the ball. And it works. It's been working since I was 14. And I don't think without their commitment and the training they put in with us, I would never have made it.
Wow. I think we both are extremely fortunate to have had such supportive families in our careers. I know that you and Andrina played for a number of clubs together early on, such as Kolbotten and Stabæk, and then the German team Turbine Potsdam in 2013. But then you split up for the first time when Andrina left Potsdam. And I remember really when my career first split off from my sisters. We obviously grew up in the same town. We went to the same high school. We played mostly for the same club. But when I decided to go, I went all the way across the country for college. I felt like as the younger sister, I really needed to make a decision to forge my own path and create my own identity. And I'm curious if this first initial separation from your sister enabled something similar for you to become more of your own person and player. Does any of that resonate with you?
Absolutely. And I think it was like the right path for both of us. And that's the tricky part with being sisters as well, is that you're being looked at as a couple. But
I know.
In the end, you're also individuals, and you're very different in terms of personalities, characters, the style of play, and we have our different qualities. Basically, she went to Sweden back then. I went and continued my journey another year at Potsdam before I went to Lyon. So it was kind of a natural move, I would say, for both of us.
What's your relationship like with your sister, both on the field when you do play together and off the field? Are you guys close?
Back then, obviously, she was the technical lefty gifted midfielder who had like a vision about the play. So she would like kind of serve me the balls, you could say, being younger. I would be the natural striker of us. So completely different qualities. And obviously we've been tight ever since we grew up together. And honestly, it's been a gift to have a sister growing up, doing the same sports. Because it's like you said, when we were younger, she would take me everywhere with her, even though I was like a annoying little sister dragging on her with her friends. She would always bring me with her, and I'm forever grateful of that.
I know that actually resonates a lot with me, being the annoying little sister. I think Christy was always kind of like, oh my God, can you stop following me? But as we've gotten older, I think especially being in the spotlight, having a professional career, trying to make the national team, having somebody in your family who understands the stresses that you're under is such a gift. So I really appreciate you saying that. I think that so few people understand this lifestyle and the stresses that we deal with, the ups and downs of injury and making the team and not making it. And to have someone so close to you who understands you so well, know what that's like, I think has been such a gift. So I really appreciate you saying that. When you also left Potsdam, you went to Lyon, and instantly, this was in 2014, Ada, you were a key part of Lyon's success. You scored 26 goals in 22 league games. You led Lyon to a 9th consecutive Division I feminine title. This is a globally recognized club. You get there, you have incredible success right off the bat. How did not just your career, but your life change that year that you first joined Lyon?
I gotta say, when I went to Germany, that was kind of like my first test as a professional footballer. We trained hard. I mean, Germans don't kid around. When I went there, I went from thinking that I was fit to actually trying to sustain 3 trainings a day. So the training culture was insane. But the amount of discipline you learn, the experience I brought with me from Germany was such a value for me when I came into Lyon. Because when I came to Lyon, I felt like I kind of like fit in from day one.
Yeah.
I felt like I just went into a summer camp and where everyone just welcomed me. And I felt like it clicked from day one. All these world-class players. I kind of like found my place pretty from the beginning, I would say. And could use my talents to the max. And I felt like home from day one in Lyon. I'm not going to lie.
Did you notice that your, notoriety or the spotlight that was on you, did that change quickly? Like, is this the year you kind of became Ada Hegerberg, who you are now, known so well in the women's football world?
I think it's been something that kind of like just built up throughout the years. I've been very like, obviously I'm a Norwegian, so we're very like, you have like a janteloven rule that you shouldn't think that you're above anyone else. So it's kind of like inscripted in my body, but at the same time, I've always been non-Norwegian in a sense that I always wanted to push the limits. But I think my work ethic has always been, okay, I did a great season. Now I'm kind of cruising. How can I then be even harder on myself in order to recreate that for the next season? I think that's the biggest lesson throughout my whole career when you look at like the best champs in the whole world who manage to maintain a performance year in and year out. I mean, those are, to me, the greatest champions. And I think also those are the athletes who manage to always start from zero again. So I remember early on, I was so damn hungry that I didn't even look in the past of what I did. I just wanted to go for the next one. I may be a bit better today to kind of like have a bit more perspective, thinking, damn, that was wild. When good things happen today, I tend maybe to take it a bit more in. But you know, when you're young, you just want to go hard and you want it to continue. And I think that's been kind of the key to success as well, is that I was never satisfied in that age. I kind of like, I went home, I worked my ass off, I created new ambition, new motivation in my head, and I kept it going. And I think that's been a lot of the key to the success.
Yeah, I mean, you continued having incredible success. You kept scoring goals. In 2016, you helped Lyon win the Coupe de France, the league title, and the Champions League. You led the team in goals, and you weren't just dominating in France. In Norway, you continued to play for the national team, and you were actually awarded Norway's top footballing award, the Golden Ball, which was the first time a woman had won that award in 20 years. And for such a footballing family, this must have been such a huge deal. Can you take us back to that moment of finding out that you were winning this award?
All the awards are like the awards, which are huge. I mean, I get a lot of questions about the Ballon d'Or, for example. But I think like the defining moments leading up to those awards are kind of the ones you're appreciating. I know all the hard work that it took to get to the first Champions League final and the first Champions League goal. I know all those goals, what it took to score them, all those titles we won as a team together. And those are kind of the key moments leading up to those. It's very strange. I can like sit here and say it today, but it's very strange with individual awards in football as well, because it's a team sport after all. Mm-hmm. So it's an honor, but it's also strange in some sense. So I appreciate every one of them. But I think like the defining moments leading up to an award like that, that's what gives you the award as well. So I kind of appreciate them even higher almost.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that even winning like a major tournament, of course you have these memories from the tournament. But I think when somebody is like, how did you get here? I have like vivid memories of being at home in the off season in the winter and taking this bag of balls in my car out to a snowy field and kicking by myself against a wall into an empty goal, running sprints in the cold. And I'm like, that's not something that athletes in your position talk about that much, because we're always asking you about awards. So when you do think back then on the moments that led you to winning Champions League, to scoring all those goals, to winning all these awards, what stands out to you as something that set you apart from your peers? What were you doing differently? What was difficult? What are some of those memories?
I really like to highlight the team we've had in Lyon going into that, especially that period of when we won the Champions League of 5 years in a row. I mean, it was so wild, Sam. It was a machine that never stopped going.
I know.
I mean, it was like we went into a season, we went into a game, and we just like, we're not gonna lose this game. Like, it was being a part of that team, which had some changes during the seasons, but it kind of like we kept the same team throughout a long period, and I think that's been very important for the success as well. I gotta like highlight the team as well, because the team allowed me to shine. The team also allowed me to be at my peers. Obviously, I know all the hard work I put down, the talent I have, the mentality I have. But putting that into that team, it was like the best matchup. Sometimes I think about it, a random moment, and I think about like winning 5 Champions Leagues in a row. It's unheard of. But we actually managed to do it. And I think it shouldn't be diminishing how difficult it was, because you might think that the competition is higher today, and it is. People are investing more, which is so good. Like, it's so important. But back then, doing it, it was very hard, you know? Like, we went into every season working our heads off, even though we won Champions League the year before. Obviously, that team needed a top striker who was efficient, and it made me play to the beyond of my qualities. And it was maybe the most fun period of my career, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that your team kind of pushed you to play beyond yourself. And I think that's what happens with the best teams is players can play to the very best of their abilities. You did win this incredible award for Norway, but the next year in 2017, you chose to step away from the national team. And we're talking about this was a time where there a lot more investment started happening, but it clearly wasn't happening within the Norwegian Federation. You said that this decision to step away was about a lack of respect, lack of investment that the Federation was putting into the women's game. Knowing how much you and your family respect the game and how important football has been, I can imagine how frustrating it was for you and your teammates to be treated unfairly. And actually, right around the same time, Ada, the U.S. women's national team was starting our own battle for better treatment with our equal pay lawsuit. I'm really interested in how you came to such a radical and brave decision, knowing that you'd face criticism for stepping away and knowing that you were kind of on your own. Was there any one moment in the build up to this decision that you were like, this is it, this is the breaking point, and I have to do this?
I think this decision in its end, when I took it, it was quite an easy decision to take, because I felt like I've tried to have an impact on the inside. I informed my superiors about my thoughts. In the process, I was very direct and honest with my feedback. So I feel like I can look myself in the mirror, looking back at taking that decision, that I kind of like stood very true to my values. What I'm very happy about today is that I think that I was kind of before my time a bit when it comes to those decisions. I do not hold any grudges today about standing alone, because the most important, as I said earlier, was staying true to my values. When you see these situations occur today, you don't think second thoughts about their decisions, because I feel like we're all in the same boat. I feel like all women's players are going through the same inequalities, the same type of challenges that they should be going through when you're a women's footballer at a high level. So when today I see the same problems above all federations, I'm very happy to see that players are sticking more together, that there are more individual cases, even though they exist. Because as you mentioned, I was very alone. And what was interesting was, obviously, there was a lot of clowns as well commentating on the outside. And coming from the men, I wasn't even disappointed, because it was men, you know.
Yeah.
But coming from women, former players who didn't get it, was very shocking to me. The lack of like female support. Every woman knows what it's all about when women has to take these decisions. So it was more disappointing coming from them that they didn't have much more insights or didn't put themselves more into the situation before they actually made a comment on it. Megan Rapinoe was very cool. I remember she stood up commentating on it, like she does with, like she is like huge in terms of like female empowerment, supporting each other. And I remember her just like commentating the situation was a great deal to me. But I think the world has kind of changed a bit. I think when it happens today, there's a much more understanding about it. And for the same reason I left, there was this kind of the same reason why I came back. I really felt that there was something going on. I really believed in our president. So it was also, as hard as it was to leave, I still feel like I did the right decision back then, as I did when I came back, which was a huge moment as well.
I want to just highlight again the idea that you did this on your own, which in my experience with kind of protesting our federation, I was standing next to Megan Rapinoe and all of these other powerful women. We were all in it together, and I was terrified. I was afraid that for some reason I would get singled out and get cut from the team and never be allowed back. And I really can't imagine the bravery required to do what you did. And I do just want to say that as these issues continue and as we, everybody's standing up for equality and their rights within their federations and their clubs, they do receive a lot more support now. And I just want to really credit you as being kind of the trailblazer in that area of saying this isn't good enough and I can't be a part of this. And you've given everybody else kind of this platform to be able to stand up for themselves as well. So I guess I really just want to thank you for your bravery in doing that. I want to circle back. You win the Ballon d'Or. Then you become the UEFA Champions League all-time scorer. You score your 53rd goal in your 50th appearance. But then also during this time, you tore your ACL and you spent 21 long months recovering. Also, as somebody, I feel like we have a lot of similarities in our careers, but I also struggled for a long time with a knee injury. And so I understand a lot of the ups and downs that come along with a lengthy rehab like that. Can you just speak a little bit to the roller coaster of emotions that you went through going through an extended rehab like that?
I think that whenever I'm done with my career, I'm gonna be pretty sure that I've experienced it all in terms of like biggest highs and biggest lows. And honestly, it touches me when you talk about your own situation, because I remember, your personal health your health is very personal. So you don't want to give much insights in what's going on with your body or the injuries you go through. I remember following your situation as well. And I think there are so many players who go through so many serious injuries that they maybe don't have to, because we kind of lack that perspective. We lack the competence. Maybe everything around needs to be better in some way in order for players to play longer careers, maybe less hard injuries. Sport is an injury risk, so you can't come around it. But I do ask myself the question if we're really taking care of the player's health in the extent that it needs to be. But obviously, I did my ACL back in 2020. Pretty crazy to say, but my ACL rehab went smooth, like recovery, everything went very well. But I had a stress fracture that wouldn't heal. And so that was a story going on for a long time, like many, many, many months. And I came back, won the Champions League, which was maybe the most beautiful title I ever won, because it was after such an injury hell. It took me a long while to get the right competence, to find the right people to actually help me on that matter, because I'm not gonna lie, I had these old dudes telling me, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, which, you're sitting around the table, a little girl, you feel like a little girl being so vulnerable, being injured, and you have all these old men telling things about your body where they have absolutely no point what the women's body is all about. And once I found the right person who really respected the women's body, who knew the right stuff about the women's body, it healed and I recovered and I'm playing football. So that was a ride. That was a ride. And I feel like I'm very privileged with my career, being at the point where I am, where I can like get the competence I need. But I had to dig deep. So I'm telling myself, what is then the case for all these younger girls coming up, So there's work to do, definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. All of that resonated with me. I for anybody who's listening on audio, not watching on YouTube, I rolled my eyes when Ada said the thing about sitting at a table of men telling her what to do. It's so frustrating and maddening. So I so appreciate you sharing all of that. And I want to talk about when you came out of it, you in 2021, in one of your first games back, you scored a brace against league enemies PSG. Can you take us into that moment? Like, did you feel like yourself again? Was it this huge relief to be back? How was the return for you?
Very emotional, very emotional. I almost get emotional when I think about it because kind of like my whole career was spinning in that moment, coming back. How my teammates received me when I came back was beautiful. I think everyone knew what that moment felt for me. And obviously the whole season was very special because we went on to win the Champions League. And like I heard all these people saying, "Yeah, she's a done player. It's over." And I just found that extra motivation that I needed because it takes a lot to come back from a long injury. You need time, you need rhythm, you need to gain a certain confidence. You need to have like a real tough mental motivation. So winning the Champions League that year was kind of like the ultimate grail for me because I basically was told I couldn't run again. So standing there, winning it was winning it when you're at the top is something, but coming from the rock bottom and winning it again was maybe the greatest achievement of my career, I would say.
That's really incredible. I'm really touched to hear all that. I can only imagine the emotion that you felt coming back from injury, winning Champions League. And I know that you didn't just come back to Lyon. You also, as you mentioned, returned to the Norwegian national team after 5 years away. Mentioned that the federation's appointment of a new president, and that's Lisa Klaveness, a former player herself, had a big impact on your decision to play again. Can you talk us through this decision a little bit, maybe about your relationship with Lisa and how the Norwegian Federation has been feeling in recent years?
I mean, it says everything that she was the first person to actually reach out to try to create some sort of dialogue, taking over. And I look very much up to her. I think she's a badass woman who has strong values going into the world of, government football, that it takes a lot. It takes a lot of a woman to be up there and raise your voice. So obviously her coming in was bringing another vibe, I feel, like a little bit of an understanding, because I'm not going to lie, Lisa has been very outspoken about it as well. She has endured a lot of the same experience that I had when I decided to quit. So having someone who understood you was a big deal for me, because I felt very misunderstood. When you stand alone in something, people look at you like, oh, that's the prima donna who thinks she's better than everyone else. That was kind of the storylines going on in Norway as well. I wouldn't come back if I wasn't convinced that things were changing. We have a long way to go still, I'm not going to lie. But I had true belief in this woman leading the way, and I wanted to be a part of that. I missed playing for my country. Oh my God, like I was at my peer when I was away from the national team as well. And coming back, having that connection with the young generation, the young fans, it was huge to me as well. So coming back on that snowy day, a small town in Norway, or I mean like outside Oslo, you had like all these young girls, young boys with their like signs. I almost teared up at the national team being back, because it was like all those years outside, standing true to your values, kind of. But it was my decision, obviously. But coming back was a very big moment in my career. And seeing those young faces, I felt like it was the right time to go back as well.
That is so beautiful to hear. I'm happy that has worked out. And it does seem that the Norway team is moving in a really exciting new direction. You were just named captain for Norway ahead of this summer's Euros, which seems so full circle to have this honor from this institution that you have sacrificed a lot to improve. How does it feel to be named captain, and what kind of leader do you hope to be for the national team?
It's a big moment. It's like you said, like I feel like my whole national team career went into like a full motion picture in my head, and actually being captain for this team it's a huge opportunity. Like it's a huge task, and I'm extremely motivated. I'm very humbled to be in this position, to gain Gemma's trust, our coach, and to be leading this team moving forward is it's kind of like a new step in my career, I would say as well, like very motivational on a leading perspective. I think there's an exciting time ahead of us. I do think we gotta maximize everything that we have as a Norway team. I mean, we're a small country, we can't lie, but we still have to maximize the talent to an extent. We have to be working hard, obviously. The results are not gonna be for free. And I think there's a vibe going on in that team as well that I really like, that I can lean on different girls. I think like a team that's leading together are most probably the most successful teams as well. So
yeah,
I'm very eager to take on this role, and I'll give everything for the country for the years to come.
Well, we are so excited for the Euros. We've been studying all the groups. I know that Norway's in a group full of other Scandinavian countries, Finland, Norway, and then Iceland, which that game is actually on your birthday. We did our research over here. Are there any teams?
We better win.
I actually, seriously, are there any of those games, any teams in your group or even in the rest of the tournament that you're looking forward to playing?
Well, playing a tournament already it's huge. Representing your countries in a tournament is you know how it is. I mean, come on, you won the damn World Cup, so you know it better than anyone. I think every game is difficult. You know, we have some tough results with the national team. I played a final in 2013, which feels ages ago. We were so close winning the Euros back then. And after that, it's been kind of like a bumpy road for us in tournaments. So it's all about the preparation, I would say. Preparation. Don't get our heads too lost in what's going to come this summer. But we're already playing Switzerland in the Nations League. And we're already playing Iceland in the Nations League leading up to the Euros. So it's going to be very interesting how we prepare to those games. But in my eyes, if you feel like you've done the work, if you've done everything you can do on an individual level and on a team level, going into the Euros, you have a good shot. So the next months are going to be crucial for us. But I do really hope we can maximize the potential we have, but it's going to take a lot of work. And we're going to be committed and work our butts off. That's how it's going to be.
Well, I'm so excited to watch. I just have one more question for you. In addition to the Euros this summer with Norway, you and Lyon have another Champions League to hopefully win this spring. And honestly, Ada, it's been interviewing you. This has been so incredible. Just speaking to somebody who's already done so much in your career. You mentioned playing in a Euros final in 2013. You've done it all. You've been through so many ups and downs. I'm wondering what your goals are for the future. Is there anything still on your list that you can't wait to accomplish?
Well, obviously, I signed a new contract with Lyon last year, and I wouldn't have signed those 3 years if I didn't think that we could still make it on the top, winning the Champions League again. I'm very ambitious about my next years. I feel like I'm only 29, so I really want the next years. I mean, I'm turning 30 this summer.
Oh my goodness.
But I really want to make the next years kind of like some pretty good years on an ambition level. Win the Champions League. It's going to take a lot as a team again. It's been a while we haven't won it. We got work to do. You can't sit still nowadays. People are gutsing everywhere in the clubs. So it's going to take a lot of us. But I want to continue to win titles, score goals, and most of all have fun, enjoy my football. I think that's the key to all success. And we'll see how long it lasts.
This has been honestly the highlight of my life for a long time. So this has been really, really fun to get to know you a little bit more. I would love a glimpse at Sune if you can go grab him.
Sorry, I didn't hear you on that one. No, what did you say?
Oh no, can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Oh, I just said I would love a glimpse at Sune if you can go grab him.
Yes! Let me get him.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Here we go.
Oh, hi, buddy. Are you being a good boy? Oh, hello.
No, tonight you were not a good boy, Sune. He woke us up at 3.
Oh no, Sune, why?
Say hi, Sune.
Why you wake them up? You just had to play. Oh my God, he's so cute.
Isn't he the best boy ever?
Oh my goodness, look at him giving you kisses. I love
Say
him.
Hi. Hello. Say hi, Sam.
Oh
You're
my
doing
goodness,
a great
what
job.
a natural. He's really cute, Ada. I'm so happy for you. Okay, well, I will let you get back to your family. Thank you again so much for doing this. I'm so honored that you came on the show, and I'll be cheering for you with Lyon and with Norway this summer.
Thank you very much. Keep doing you.
Thank you.
I have a mad respect for your career and what you're doing now. So, Sune, tell Sam you is world champion goodbye, okay?
Bye, Sune.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Ada.
Take care.
Thank you all so much for listening. Sune was definitely one of the highlights of this interview, but Ada was just so wonderful, and I'm so grateful again that she took the time to chat with me. Ahead of the U.S. Women's National Team games coming up, next week's guest is U.S. Women's National Team and Houston Dash attacker Yasmin Ryan. I got to chat with Yaz all about her trade to the Houston Dash and what her goals are with the national team. TWG has so much coming up, including our coverage of the national team next week and our live show in Seattle on April 16th. I don't want you to miss anything, so please make sure you're subscribed to our podcast feed, to our YouTube channel, and make sure you're following us across social media at Women's Game MIB. Thank you all so much for being here, and we'll see you soon.